When did you start collecting vacuum cleaners?
Well, I started being interested in vacuums when I was sort of 2-3 years old, but I've only really been collecting them for 2 or 3 years.
Why vacuum cleaners?
I'm not really sure why I started being interested in vacuums, but the reason why I've stayed interested is probably because I just found them intriguing, taking them apart, seeing how they work, that type of thing. And using them is quite satisfying.
Do you like the sound of the dirt being sucked up by the vacuum cleaner?
Most of the time, unless it's breaking the vacuum.
How does dirt break a vacuum cleaner?
If it's something like a stone or a rock or something like that going through a dirty fan vacuum, it could break the fan.
What is your first memory of a vacuum cleaner?
Probably when I was about 3. Mum was using the filter queen and I remember being scared of it because it was loud, and then going up to it and using it and then thinking it was cool.
What's a filter queen?
One of them, just there.
What is your first vacuum cleaner in your collection?
The first vacuum that I used and enjoyed was probably a Bissell upright or the filter queen.
Do you still like using those first vacuum cleaners?
Yeah, if it's a good vacuum, I'll enjoy it. I'll enjoy using it anytime.
What makes a good vacuum cleaner?
Well, they've got to be reliable, good suction, good filtration, all that type of thing.
What is good suction and good filtration?
Good suction is does a good job at cleaning and performs well, and filtration would be keeping the dust inside the vacuum instead of in the air.
What makes a bad vacuum cleaner?
Something that's expensive and unreliable and hard to repair.
What's the best thing about vacuum cleaners?
Taking them apart is quite satisfying, and having the reward of after fully refurbishing something.
Why do you take vacuum cleaners apart?
To get them, to make them nice and like new again, makes them look better.
How do you make vacuum cleaners all nice and new again?
You take them all apart and wash all the bits and re-grease the bearings and that type of thing and put it all back together with new parts fitted, and then it'll be really nice.
Tell me about your 3 favourite vacuum cleaners and what makes them so special.
Probably my Hoover Junior U1346A. That's one of my favourites. It does a good job, it's lightweight, was cheap to get for me, and I fully refurbished it, so it's in really good condition. And I've also got I've got some of my more modern machines, like my SIBO. That's just a good vacuum for using. It's quite nice to use. And I do quite like this Hoover Duet here, or the deluxe model. Cleans well. It's got some extra features like a cord winder and an extra power switch.
How do vacuum cleaners work?
They've got some form of fan, whether it be before the bag or after the bag, that removes air from the space in front of it, creating a partial vacuum that wants to be filled through any opening. And that opening's the hose or floor tool. That's how it pulls air in.
Can you give me a brief history of the vacuum cleaner?
The first vacuum that people associate as being a vacuum cleaner was made by Herbert Cecil Booth under the British Vacuum Cleaner Company name. It was a horse-drawn cart made in 1901. And then Mr. Spangler came along and made a portable suction sweeper that cost as much as one session, the same as one session with that big cart coming to your house. And it was a portable machine with a dust bag at the back made out of miscellaneous parts that he could find and put together. And so over the years there was some advancements. There was big brands came along, Talus, Nilfisk, Electrolux, and the product advanced. And over the years it got more sleek and different colour schemes came out and more variety came out, and there was lots of advancements, and we got cylinder vacuums, upright vacuums, and then later on in the 60s and 70s we got the Hoover Dial-O-Matic with a clean air motor. That was the first ever upright vacuum with a clean air motor, and you could attach the tools at the back.
Are you telling me the first vacuum was powered by a horse?
Well, it was powered by steam, but it was pulled around by a horse, and it would be pulled along on the road in front of people's houses, a long hose inserted through their window.
Do you have one of those horse vacuum cleaners here in your house?
Oh, I wish. There's only 1 or 2 of them in the world.
Is the horse vacuum cleaner your dream vacuum cleaner?
One of them, but there's quite a few vacuums that I'd really like, but there's almost no chance of getting.
Why is there no chance of getting those dream vacuum cleaners?
There is some chance, it's just almost zero. It's kind of hard to find a vacuum that there's only, they only think there's one of the first Hoover models in Britain. So it's hard to find one in New Zealand if it's hard to find one in Britain.
What's your next dream vacuum cleaner for your collection?
Oh, I'd really like to get, there's a couple of things, and it's not like an individual machine. I'd like to get the full lineup of Electrolux cleaners right from the start to the end. And I'd also really like to get the full lineup of machines that came along in the 70s for Hoover.
Why do you want those ones so bad?
The Electrolux machines are because most of New Zealanders know the Electrolux machines, and it would be pretty cool having a full lineup of matching machines with no gaps. And the Hoovers, they had so much variety in the 70s, it would be pretty cool having the full lineup.
Tell me about your time with Godfrey's.
I'd go in there and I'd try out different vacuums and see what they were like and talk to the people about what was happening in the vacuum world. And yeah, that was pretty much what I did. But when Godfrey's was closing down, it just happened to be in Invercargill with my dad. So we went in there for the last 3 days and did some work and fixed some vacuums and stuff.
Did you meet any cool people when you fixed vacuums at Godfrey's?
Definitely. There was one time I just happened to be going in, and the South Island sales manager was in there, and they invited me to go to the Auckland head office. Well, later on that year, I went up to the Auckland head office and met the owner and the service department and saw their parts warehouse. This wasn't too long before they closed. And I also went up and visited KiwiVac, which is a New Zealand-owned central vacuum business. And Godfrey's told me to go across the road to Harvey Norman, and I met their regional sales manager for the North Island, and the person that won the prize at the Miele launch event for the Blizzard CX-1. Then they told me to go to the Dyson headquarters, so I got a shirt when I went there.
Wow, how did it feel to do that vacuum worldwide tour?
Pretty cool. I went over, when I was in Auckland, we did a lot of things with vacuums.
What does your family think about your vacuum hobby?
Now they all pretty much like it. I can imagine it would be pretty, they do take up a lot of space. But yeah, they like it as a whole.
Have you met any other vacuum cleaner lovers? Are you part of any vacuum cleaner club?
I'm a part of an online club forum website called Vacuumland, and that they discuss vacuums on there, and so I've been keeping an eye on that and recently joined. I've also met someone called Matt that lives in Christchurch that used to work at the Electrolux branch office on Victoria Street, and so he shared with me some of his knowledge about Electrolux cleaners. I've also found out that there's a vacuum collector in Wellington, and there's also another one in Christchurch, so I'm hoping to meet some more people soon.
How did you learn all this stuff about vacuum cleaners?
Mostly by YouTube and vacuum websites like Vacuumland, and talking to or watching videos by people that know about vacuums.
I hear you have some opinions on the history of Dyson. Can you share those thoughts with me?
He had a good idea with making a vacuum that didn't need a bag, because he thought that the bagged vacuums lost suction. But bagged vacuums of then had a different type of bag that was a lot more inefficient than modern fleece bags. So a modern bagged vacuum doesn't lose suction like the older ones did. So you've no longer got that problem anymore, which means that for all the added complexity and loss of and unrepairability, it's not really worth it. So there was a bit more of a point back then, but the cyclones just lose all the suction.
Bag or bagless? What's the verdict?
Definitely bagged. They'll just last longer, they're simpler to repair. I'd definitely go for a bagged vacuum if you're buying a vacuum.
So this whole fancy bagless Dyson thing, what do you think about that?
I don't think it's really worth the money. Too expensive for what they are. Yes, they have a screen on the back, but that doesn't make it clean any better. It's just saying that it does, but it says it does, but it doesn't. It cleans worse.
I've got 7 dogs at home. What is the best vacuum cleaner for me?
Probably a SIBO vacuum would be if you have lots of carpet for the pet hair to stick to, because they've got the higher quality motors and they're bagged and all that. If you want something that's better for hard floors, I'd go for a Miele though. They're both cheaper than a Dyson and both are going to last a lot longer and be cheaper in the long run. So I'd buy either a SIBO or a Miele.
What do your classmates think about your vacuum cleaner hobby?
They thought I was a bit weird at first, but now everyone wants to vacuum. So I suppose that's a good thing.
How did you get everyone in your class into vacuuming?
I bought in some other vacuums and showed them how they worked, and everyone was interested, and a few people are wanting to do the class vacuuming now.
Elliot, tell me about your vacuum repair business.
It's not properly a business, but I repair vacuums for people that have a broken vacuum or want me to have a look at it. So I do fix vacuums for people, but it's not really a business as such.
Do they pay you money to repair their vacuum?
Yeah, but normally it's only $10 or $20, just something for the equipment I have and that type of thing.
How do you save up enough money for all these vacuums?
Well, normally one will come up on Trade Me every month or so, and so I'll normally have fixed a vacuum or two through then or got money from somewhere else, and I'll buy it when it comes up, and I'll buy them slowly over time.
What happened to the guy who invented the vacuum cleaner?
Well, the portable vacuum was James Murray Spangler, and he had the Hoover Company manufacture his vacuum in a corner of their workshop, because they made leather goods. But when the leather goods business sort of dried up, they had the vacuum business and decided to go all in on the vacuum business and start working on that, and bought out the patents from Spangler. That's how the Hoover Company was first started.
What is your opinion on robo vacuum cleaners like Roombas?
They're like the Dysons, they're lower quality and not made to last and really expensive for what they are, and they really don't do a good job at vacuuming. They'll leave a lot of dirt in your floors that you can't see, the sand and stuff in the bottom of the carpet. That'll all just sit there.
So the moral of the story is the good old basic other than the fancy stuff.
Yes, definitely. I'd say basic machines like the SIBOs or Miele's over something fancy.
What is the future of vacuum cleaners?
Well, companies will keep coming out with new technologies that are made to make things better, but really it'll just be marketing ploys most of the time. So Dysons and robot vacuums will just keep having little bits added that will make them less reliable, I reckon. And there'll probably only be a few companies that'll still be making a good bagged vacuum at some point.
Who does the vacuuming in your house?
Me. I enjoy doing the vacuuming.
Do you ever share the vacuuming job?
No, I always end up doing it.
Do you have any vacuum cleaner jokes?
I've got one. Why did the man sell his vacuum?
I don't know why.
Because it was just collecting dust.
Great joke. I would tell you my vacuum joke, but it sucks.
Good joke.